Lewis-Margalla trail runners, and in this session, I'm joined by co-host Javed Ali, who is the founder of Margalla Trail Runners, and we will be joined by Rufi Shehzada and Yele. And we welcome you all to this exciting session when one of the maestros and champions of backyard ultra, Mr. Harvey Lewis. So, Mr. Lewis basically needs no introduction, but for all those who are new to backyard ultra format, he was a winner of Big Dog Backyard Ultra, where he ran an astonishing 450 miles in October 2003 and had the record of 108 laps completed over 5 days. He also represented Team USA at the International Association of Ultra Runners with 24 hours World Championship in 2012, 2013, 2014, and 2017. Mr. Lewis also has completed in other well-known events such as Badwater, Ultra Marathon, Arrowhead Region Ultra, and Marathon des Sables. And I can go on and on about his achievement, but let's save some for the discussion. And we also have a backyard ultra coming up next week on Saturday, and we will be taking your questions about preparation and how to run a backyard ultra from Mr. Harvey Lewis. So let's all welcome Mr. Harvey Lewis to this session. Harvey, thank you so much for once again joining us.
Salam alaikum, and I'm so excited to see you all here. It's about 8:15 in the morning, and so we are getting the day started. So it's great to catch you guys in the evening.
So good to see you. So you can, so all those who are watching, you can write your questions in the comment section, and I'll be taking it in between the conversation. So Harvey, I hope you are doing well. So let me just begin with some very basic thoughts on. I think everyone here, since Backyard Ultra in Islamabad is coming up, so all the new runners and some veterans of this race in Islamabad as well. So we're all curious to know. How do you run a backyard ultra marathon or backyard ultra?
Yeah. Well, first, I'm super excited. You guys have your race this Saturday, and I'll be tuning in when I wake up in the morning. So that'll be in your evening, your first day. So I'll definitely be following along on your socials. And so it really is so much fun. I feel you just pacing yourself is really one of the keys. So you want to try to find a pace that you can maintain as long as you humanly can. So if you go too fast, like we've had like some collegiate track runners come, and they'll just be cruising along at like 38-minute laps, and then they get a ways in and they're like, oh, that wasn't a good idea. So then there's a magic formula for everyone, but there's some equilibrium number. So finding a pace that's comfortable, and then when you get finished with your lap, having it as some sort of chair, but also a place where you can put your feet up, so the blood is circulating easier through your body, and then also everything is about nutrition. So giving yourself adequate like electrolyte drinks. Looks like the weather will be nice and cool, not too hot for you, but it will be still like electrolytes are so important even when it's cold out. Making sure you're hydrating every lap, and also eating a little something every lap. So I tend to encourage people to eat things they're familiar with, but also like things that are easier to digest. So like things that like maybe soups or soups are great because they have a lot of times sodium and stuff. Yeah.
So what do you do? Like, what is your ideal time to finish a loop, which is 6.7 kilometers? So what do you suggest? When a runner should be back in the hood?
Well, it's sort of like mathematics. There's like an equilibrium point for everybody, and like my equilibrium point is different than others. So you gotta kind of explore a little bit. However, I will say that if you are finishing the lap, slower than 55 minutes, it oftentimes puts a little more pressure on you because you don't have enough time to maybe eat enough or put your feet up. But then again, I was able to do that for a couple of days in the end of the backyard. But I wouldn't say it's ideal.
You were finishing it around 55 minutes?
I was the last couple of days of that 4.5-day journey because it was so. But then everything was super precise. I had a crew member, and he was really fantastic about ensuring that my drinks were ready, my food was ready. I would like lay down for a minute and take a nap, but I don't think that that's very sustainable typically. Like honestly, it's usually easier if you're doing like somewhere closer to 50-minute laps, because then you have a time you can lay down for 4 or 5 minutes. You can eat some food. I also like to stretch. So I like to stretch each loop. I feel like that really helps a lot, because if you wait till you've run already 100 miles and then you start stretching, you feel a lot more tight and it's harder to stretch. So I like to do a little bit of basic stretching each loop, which is only like 30 seconds, nothing major, but no bouncing, just gentle stretching. And then if you can, like even laying down a little bit is so powerful, even if you don't fall asleep. Like your body gets a benefit from laying there with your eyes shut, even if you're not sleeping.
Perfect. So I think we are also getting some questions as well. So I'll come to that. But Rufi and Yele, jump in to the conversation if you have any questions. I think everybody wants to know.
I see. There's a question about how do I stretch?
So you have to show us.
Oh my God! A little bit of a disadvantage in terms of the setup, but honestly, I literally will straighten out my front leg, and I will lean into it gentle, and that stretches my hamstring right there. Okay. And then what I'll do next is I do that on both sides. So literally both sides. So I'm stretching my hamstring on both sides. And then what I'll do next is I pull my leg back like this, and I'm getting the quad. So I'll do that on both sides. And this only takes about 40 seconds, but it's magic.
Amazing.
And then I stretch my hips. So I'll go like this, and I go down into a position like this, like that, and then like this. And now, so I've got my hamstrings, my quads, I've got my hips, and then I just the final move is I just reach up and like this, and I stretch my arms. And that, literally, that is 40 seconds. And you'll feel like you just started running again, like after 100 miles. If you don't do that at all and you wait till 100 miles to do it, when you try to lift your leg up, it's going to feel like it's got spasm. So when you try to lift it up, you may just have to kick, because you can't even reach back and do that, because you've not done it. But if you do that from the first hour onward, no one does it.
So 40 seconds at the end of every loop.
Every loop.
I feel like doing it right now.
No one does this. When I'm running ultras, maybe 1 or 2% of people do it. But even I've won races like a 50K race where I get around. I don't like my competitors, if it's a 50K race, to see me do that, because they think I'm injured. But it's just I loosen up my body, and then I'm much faster with my stride. So it will help you a lot.
Great. Yele, go ahead. I think you were raising your hand.
No, I was actually
doing the moves.
No.
Hello.
This is your opportunity. If you want to ask something, go ahead. I mean,
it's a very good idea. I mean, how do you deal? I found that, but I mean, 100 miles is already quite a good one for me. But I found that at some stage you get less and less people. It's cold, it's dark, and you go your own pace. And you get this very, very sort of lonely feeling. I mean, do you have some sort of tricks that... I'm generally not a very pessimistic person, but at those moments I sometimes get this, what am I doing here?
I mean, especially when it gets dark, after the sunset, it gets tough.
Yeah, it's tough. There's a couple of things that will help. So one thing that would help would be to, I only do this once or twice a year, but when it's a big race, I write down a list of whys, why I want to do this. So maybe it's to experience, to push myself, or whatever the things are. So then once you have that written down tonight or tomorrow, then you can reflect back on that when you're in the race in those dark places, versus trying to invent them when your mind is tired. That's one really good thing. Or the other thing is like using your imagination and like maybe focusing on someone that is in your life, like a family member or a friend or a relative, even someone that maybe passed away a long time ago, just for like a loop, and you just meditate on that person. Imagine like they're like right there running with you, and then it's kind of a nice thing because it's a way to like connect with the person and a piece of your life. But
do you talk to your fellow runners on the course? Is there a
definitely
lot of
that too.
conversation going on?
Yeah, that would be really nice as well. And then at nighttime, I mean, if you're permitted on your course, are you allowed to listen to some music? Is there
Yeah,
enough space?
yeah,
So
that's okay.
sometimes at night, that's kind of nice to listen to some music because the music also, I don't ever take any painkillers or something like that. I feel like if I had to do that, then it means that I shouldn't be running. So what I do is I will listen to music, and the music is really nice because you can like alleviate discomfort by listening to music because it distracts your brain. Like you don't think about like discomfort, you think about the music. It also kind of takes you somewhere different, so you're able to like kind of move beyond that place. But
So you should have your playlist ready for the backyard. There should be a backyard playlist in your Spotify or whatever.
Yeah.
that would be sweet.
All right, Rufi, go ahead.
So Harvey,
I
how
will
are you?
ask something.
So I missed you this time because I was in States for 1 month, but I couldn't like contact with you because you were in Seattle last time when I was in California. So I was trekking all the way along. But anyhow,
Oh,
I'm gonna catch you next year for sure.
yes, I love it. That would be great.
So my question is like there is one point of time like you have to force feed your body because it's not accepting the food. Like
Yeah.
for example, after 10-12 loops, you are actually force feeding your body, and that at that moment, what should we do? Like how to complete our nutrition because it's very difficult.
Yeah.
I experienced this last year, so that's
Yeah.
yeah.
So a couple things like when you're training after this race, you could eat food and then go running. So like that way you train yourself to like always be like in that mode of being able to eat and run. But then with the race, I always say that it's better to get more. Like I eat only vegan foods. Like I don't eat any meat or dairy, and I would say like trying to get more food that's you're not going to eat vegetables because it's just your body can't process that. But getting more foods that are easier to break down is usually easier. Like soups are great, like they're easier to digest, but also having a little bit each lap. Like there should never, I mean, if you can do it, ideally every single lap you should have at least something that you're eating. So like whether that's potato chips, and I'm not eating healthy things when I'm racing. Like I eat healthy things the rest of my days, but when I'm racing,
You have a fan on you got yourself a fan on that vegan comment. So Abbas has just said vegan power. So yeah, let's
yeah,
go.
there we go. I appreciate that. You as
All
well.
right. But I think I want to include some basic questions
Oh,
for
hey, come on in.
the
Yeah, oh, yeah.
for the
Go for it.
newbies as well. So Rufi and Yele, they're like pros here. So I think I'm gonna take you back to the first few laps and how you go about this. So hydration, and what about the fueling, especially for those who are aiming to, let's say, run 10 to 15 loops or 5 loops maybe. So how should they go about it?
Well, one of the biggest things is getting electrolytes. So
All right.
if some people that can't tolerate only drinking electrolytes, they maybe need like half water, half electrolytes. But you need to consume electrolytes, and like there probably is some electrolyte drinks that are on the market, and there's like people have their favorites and this and that, but really like electrolyte drink is really the way to go.
All right.
And then the other thing is you want to be really taking in a little bit of food each lap. Like
Each
it
lap.
doesn't have to be a lot, but just a little bit, because it's easier to eat a little bit at a time than it is to like say, okay, at 6 p.m. I'm gonna have dinner. Like that's just really hard to consume. Like all of a sudden you're gonna go from like eating like 100 calories an hour to eating like
Right.
1,000
Do
calories.
you mostly eat on the go?
No,
Or
I
do you come
like to
back and
eat.
then eat?
Yeah, I like to eat during that like 3 or 4 minutes, and I eat really quickly. Like mashed potatoes would be really great. Like mashed potatoes are really simple. Like those are really easy to eat. The soup is really nice, like lentil soup, soup with like vegetable broth and like, but
Okay.
not a lot of vegetables. Like you just can't like be digesting all that. But also breads, like in things that you might not eat so much of, like even like cake, like something that sounds ridiculous, maybe like it's like celebrate someone's birthday while
Is
you're
chai
there.
okay? Is chai
Cake.
okay?
Yeah,
Have you had tea?
oh yeah,
Hot
yeah, yeah.
coffee?
That would be really. That's
All
fine.
right,
And
perfect.
honestly, like it's something like that's really nice too. The variety of drinks. I also drink like Coca-Cola at nighttime.
Huh. Mhm.
I don't ever take any sort of like caffeinated pills or anything like that. I
Okay.
just drink soda that has caffeine in it.
All right.
And
I
the
think
protein, if you get
sorry.
enough protein really isn't a big concern. If you're running like for beyond 2 or 3 days, Oreos are a great option as well. Like I love the Oreos. Thanks for the recommendation. Yeah, like
Boss.
but protein is not an issue. If you're going like 2 or 3 or 4 days and you want to get a little more protein, but otherwise I don't even think about what I'm eating. Like I could
All right.
survive. Yeah, yeah.
And so
On
Umar has also asked about the shoes. So
yeah,
you keep on changing shoes.
yeah.
What do you recommend?
So shoes, I say whatever you're used to running in is the number one thing to be consistent. But I do like to bring when I'm going for like 4.5 days, I bring multiple pairs of shoes. So I personally I like the effect of wearing like fresh shoes. So I will literally bring like 4 pairs of shoes, and like
Okay.
but that's when I'm going so far. So like after I've run 150 miles in a pair of shoes and I put on a new pair of shoes, it's like, wow, I feel like all of a sudden I've started afresh. So like that's the benefit of like the new shoes. If you have some new shoes and you can afford that, it's not a bad thing, but you don't need it. Like you could survive without that.
All right. So how often do you switch your shoes? I mean, if someone is bringing, let's say, 2 pairs of shoes and wants to do like 10 to 15 loops,
Yeah.
so after how many loops do you think you should change your
I
socks,
wouldn't
change
change
your
shoes
shirts, or
unless
shoes?
they're doing more than 24 hours. I probably wouldn't switch shoes,
Oh,
but because really one pair of shoes should, unless it's rainy. Like if it's
okay.
rainy there, or you have a purpose, like the trail's real muddy, so you're gonna wear like a trail shoe on the one side, and then you're gonna wear road shoes on the other side. But otherwise, it really, you're fine with the same pair of shoes. But if you're
All right.
going beyond like 24 hours, then
Uh-huh.
it could be like, oh, this is an incentive. I have a new pair of shoes to wear, so I'm putting those on. And I mean, sure, if someone wants to try that at mile like 100K or a
All
kilometer
right.
100K, just to like say, okay, this is a bonus to me. I'm changing my shoes. It feels good. Then go
Hmm.
for it. But
And
you're
and
really
clothes.
different cycle.
Yavar is asking, what about clothes? Like how
Clothes
often
are
do you
really
change
important,
your shirt,
especially
shorts?
your temperature. Is it going to be about 5 degrees Celsius or
No,
what?
actually, it's going to be more than that. At
Wow.
night, it's around like
I
7,
hope.
8 degrees. And
Yeah.
during the daytime, it's going to be like 13, 14 to
Yeah,
somewhere.
yeah. So
20.
that's pretty nice. So like, but I still like bring lots of clothes because it's so nice to change your clothes. And I would say maybe like every 80 kilometers or 100 kilometers, you definitely want to change like your shirt and your shorts. And the chafing, if you have any sort of like coconut butter, you could use that like for
Oh,
areas that you might chafe. But
okay.
also like if you wear compression shorts, the
Uh,
compression shorts are really nice to like help to prevent a bit of the chafing. But after like 100K or so, you probably, if you didn't put any sort of like anti.
Or Vaseline. We
Yeah.
have some substitutes here. I mean, one
Yeah.
is Vaseline that we use, and
Yeah.
there are a couple of other options. So
Yeah.
have some gel ready.
Yeah. That's good.
Okay. So handling blisters, so staffing you have already answered, but what if you get blisters? You should keep on going, or you
Yeah.
stop,
So
you stop
blisters.
and
Yeah.
go home.
No. So the blisters, the only time I would say stop is if you're doing like some sort of damage to your
All right.
body that could be long term. But like blisters are not an issue. Like all you really want to do is you want to like make a little have a sterile like needle or something that you just barely poke the skin, and then you drain the blister to nothing. And then if you put some sort of like anti-chafe area around there, like I like this squirrel nut butter, but there's other things you probably could find in the pharmacy that might be some sort of like protective skin or something like that. But if you just drain the blister, it's best, because if you don't drain it, then it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger from the friction. So it's better to drain it, but don't cut like skin away or anything like that. You want to do as minimal of a impact as possible.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. So something away from the tips and how to do a backyard ultra. I have a question out of curiosity. You had the world record for 108 loops, and the record just got overtaken by. I mean, there was one more loop. That's what the race is about, by the three Belgians. So, how do you feel about that? And is there like do we see like 112 loops coming, or 113 or 115?
Yes, well, it's possible for sure. Like it's really it's great to just keep on raising the bar, and competition makes us all better. So they're not letting me like relax at all on the hill. I have to gotta get back to working. So that's fantastic, and congratulations to the Belgium team, and also all the other teams around the world, including yourselves. How was it for the Pakistani team in terms of the team world championship? How did you all enjoy it?
I think Javed's gonna answer that, because I did not run. He was here. He was managing and everything.
This time we were a bit below as compared to the previous first edition. So this time we were at the 54th position as compared to first edition of championship. So hopefully, the Swida was feeling sleepy. That's why he went to the quit at the 38th of loop.
Yeah,
Did
so there were
improve? Some people improved. People improved their distances.
Yeah, but not improved. But because last time in the first edition, Fida and Jamal ran 50 and 49 loops. This time they 38.
So there were less loops this year.
Loops.
There were less loops this year. So as compared to the previous championship, but here
that's okay. That's okay. It's still, you have the opportunity to. I'm sorry. Come on in. You have the opportunity to improve. That's all right. I did not do as well in terms of my positioning. I did not do as well in terms of my focus was a team, but I didn't do as well. But that's okay, because what it does is it motivates us to get up and reset and go after it again. And that's what is the best aspect of this. Is
So I think there is a question. So I hope it is not too late. Today is Wednesday here, and we are having the backyard ultra on Saturday. And Mozam is asking, how many days should you rest before the race?
Yeah, so it would be really good to all your runs now from here to the race should be very gentle. Ideally, the last few days, and you probably don't really want to do any runs now over 10K, and probably just running 3 to 5K is great, just to kind of keep your body loose. But I mean, you could go out and run a little further if you want to, but it's you got tomorrow and the next day. So I'd say probably the next 2 days, you might only run like 5K, like 5K. Like for me personally, like before the race, I would run 5K to work and 5K home from work.
All right.
And then I go to the race. So it's like I run every day back and forth to work. That's part of my routine.
And then Yavar is asking, does your workplace, the folks, they know how big a legend you are?
That's very kind. No, thank you very much.
You tell them yourself, right?
No,
Just like all the runners.
No.
I'm sure they know.
No, I have a really great time. In fact, my student teacher just arrived. It's great to see him. Yeah, so they can say
hello.
Yeah, Mr. Thomas.
Right.
And we got a really amazing group of kids. Our school is very diverse. We have a very diverse school. And it's a public K through 12 school that's specialized in the arts. So like the kids, they give me good enthusiasm every day.
For those who are watching, I should tell everyone that Harvey has a job as well. So he does his running besides his job. So, so like everyone else.
Good thing.
So,
I
I have one thing. I want to ask you something, Harvey. So when are you coming here in Pakistan?
Oh man, that is a great
we
question.
love you like anything. We love you like anything. There are so many people who want to at least they want to run one race with you. So
I would love that.
Yeah.
Well, it might be possible. I'm gonna get a quick picture here.
Oh yeah.
There we go. There you go. Oh, I have my spring break coming up is in March.
Yeah.
It is March 22nd to the 30th. So I don't know if you guys want to organize a backyard on the March 23rd.
All right.
Be able to make it.
We will ask Javed to organize
anything
one
for you, but
Harvey.
we'll discuss.
That would be fun.
Difficult to organize races.
Regional, international backyard on March 23rd. See what you guys think.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I think we have two more questions. Let's take them very quickly. So the real gang is asking, what's your weekly mileage when you're training?
Yes. So, and then also, does taping help with blisters? I think taping might help with blisters if you know how to do it. So I wouldn't say no. But one thing I do is I also put squirrel nut butter on my feet before I put my socks on. And like that was a trick that I learned from a friend of mine that she taught me, and that really helps to prevent.
So just the butter? Just the butter, nothing like.
I put squirrel nut butter on, and then I put my socks on. Okay. So it really, really helps. And then the other thing.
Weekly mileage.
Weekly mileage
when you're training.
So it varies depending on the race. So ideally, if I'm like in my peak mode, I build up to a long time. Would be like to run like 100 miles a week. Like that would be like my peak weeks, but that doesn't mean every week is like that. Like, so I might have, and then the 2 weeks before the race, I drop my mileage down.
All right.
But like last week I ran 90 miles. So it could vary depending on what's happening. If I'm running Barkley, it's so much climbing up and down. I don't run as far distance wise.
Right.
But if I'm running like in the backyard, I probably would love to be able to do that.
All right.
Yeah.
One very basic question. I think we get that asked a lot during the course as well. Like how much you walk and how much you run while completing that 6.7 loop.
That's a real powerful thing. So you can utilize your walking to extend how far you can humanly go. So it's if you look at it, I don't know how much climbing does your race have?
It has about like I think about like
36 meters.
36 meters. Yeah.
Yeah, that's wonderful. So like that's really nice. It's not too incredibly difficult in terms of like it's
more like a rolling
yeah,
hill.
It's very nice. So like the benefit is anytime you're going up a hill, you should always walk, even if it's a small hill. Like on that course, like that would just make it easy. And then the other thing you might incorporate is as you're getting more tired, you may come up with a formula where you like run for 4 minutes and you walk for 1 minute, and like that can extend like how long you can survive. It's a really powerful formula. Or you play with that formula. Maybe you do 3 minutes running, 2 minutes walking. Any of those can work.
All right. So one more thing. I think with all the runners who are planning to go beyond, let's say, 16 hours or 18 hours, how do you manage your sleep,
Sleep
on the course?
Yeah. So ideally, to be honest with you, you don't even need sleep. Like the human body really doesn't need sleep, but it wouldn't be bad to get the sleep. So if you can't fall asleep, don't worry. Like I couldn't fall asleep until the 4th day. Like when I did that record, I was so excited about everything, I couldn't fall asleep. I'd have my eyes shut. I'd be like listening. Oh, geez, I can hear everybody. You know, the Japanese fellow next to me, like, as we shared a tent, and it was nice. Like, it was really nice. He was from Hiroshima, and it was really great to connect with him. But you know, it's so you don't need to sleep. But if you have the benefit of sleeping, other than just when you're running and you kind of fall asleep, it'd be nice to lay down for like 5 minutes, like as many times as you can. Especially if you can fall asleep, that's just wonderful. But just make sure you have someone to wake you up with, like,
of course, at the bell
or 2 minutes to go. Yeah.
All right. So I think I'll come to this. So there's one question about recovery plan, but before that, so one thing, as runners, when you're running the course and when you are in that, especially for the new runners, I think this we get asked a lot. When should you know that you don't need to push harder, or you should call it a day? I know for you, the question will hold a very different meaning. You have ran for like 5 days, but for all those new runners, when should they know they should not continue?
Well, I think the biggest hope is that everyone here will continue running to their, like, in their 80s and 90s and maybe even beyond. So like I have a friend, Ed Rizzo, who's like 86, 85, and he just did the 24-hour race, and he did like 70 miles. Like, it was wild in 24 hours. So you don't want to do anything that's going to cause an injury. So if you have something like a knee or a hip or somewhere that's like you could injure yourself, you don't want to necessarily continue on that for sure. But I think also you just look at your goal. Like, if your goal is to make a certain distance, then that might be you're happy with that, and you're going to want to come back again next year and like improve on that. But at some point, you might get to a point where you're like, okay, I'm not going to quit unless I'm forced to quit because I don't finish the lap. So the first couple of times I did this race, I quit because I was like, I think I've had enough. I got to get back to work and like things like that. But now it's at the point where I'm like, I only want to quit unless I actually cannot finish. So I have to run. We have like a class starting in like 2 minutes, but
okay. So, but really quickly, just share some notes on recovery plan, just a line or two.
Yeah, sure, of course. So, honestly, it is really good to focus on sleep. Like, you should ideally want to get like, if you can, 8 hours of sleep every night for the week after. Like, that's real powerful. Also, motion is lotion. So, like, walking for like 20 minutes, really powerful. Like, even though you're tired, like, walking will loosen up your body, and it's better for you to walk than to be like, sore. And then the other thing is a lot of fruits and vegetables and whole food type things. Like, eat lots of calories, but also like have a little bit of a splurge in terms of enjoying. If you have the cake, you'll have the cake.
All right. Perfect. And for Mozam, Harvey is not on Strava, so we'll have this some other day.
It is so good to see you guys. Salam alaikum.
Thank you so much.
We will talk later.
Always enjoy your class, and thank you so much.
And I'm serious about March 23rd. You guys let me know.
Please.
If you get back to me in the next 5 days, because I'm planning my schedule.
Oh my God.
MTR is ready for you.
Tell me in 5 days if that's good for you. You want to do it? We'll do it. We'll organize a big backyard and bring everyone in. We'll like call up your neighbors, tell them to come. It'll be
absolutely fun. That's fine with us. When you will be in Pakistan, you will have people coming. We don't have a
just
problem
let me
with
know.
that.
Let me know because I'm working on this schedule.
All right. All
See
right.
you later.
Perfect.
Ciao,
Thank you
guys.
so much, Harvey. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thank
We'll
you
be
so
seeing you
much,
once
everybody.
again. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for
Thank you.
joining us for the session. Thank you.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah, thank you, Rufi, Yele, Javed. Thank you so much, everyone. I
Thank
think
you for organizing it. Wonderful.
I see a lot of questions. I think if he would have continued, there were many more questions. But everyone, see you at the Backyard Ultra on Saturday, and good luck, everyone, with the race. Javed will be waiting for you there.
Thank you so much, guys. And Backyard Ultra ki registration is open. Hai. You can register
Yes.
as soon as possible. Tomorrow is the last date of registration, and you have to collect your race pack bibs from Burning Brownie 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. And on Friday, you can collect also bibs from F9 Park 3 p.m. to 8 p.m. Thank you so much.
All right, come prepared और तैयारी करके आएं, inshallah. See you guys on the. Thank you, everyone.
Okay, take care.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.